Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I'm your host, David Strege, and here I'm going to go on about a film that was put out on Netflix, which Netflix has been bringing out films within the last couple of years that have been very much in film news, and recently, within the last couple of weeks, I kept hearing about a film called Bird Box, which was directed by Susanne Biers, or Byers, or Bier, Susanne Bier. And it was filmed in 2018. This film is about a 2014 novelization of a post-apocalyptic nature by author Josh Malerman. And it's basically about a woman who had a one-night stand who ended up watching her sister kill herself after seen in the news these mass suicides happening for no reason, and so on and so forth, which ultimately led her to a house filled with people who have basically hidden themselves away from the world, have taped up the house that they live in, because they have figured out that you need to blind yourself to this plague of creatures. Well, the movie says creatures, but the novel does not. I don't think. Or maybe maybe the novel does. I haven't read the novel, but it's basically a plague of nothingness that has overtaken the people of the world and turning them into killers of themselves, and basically kind of these people have locked themselves up, and tensions rise because each person has different personalities, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, there is a character by the name of Tom. Now, the main character, Mallory, who has had the one-night stand, is played by Sandra Bullock. Tom is played by Trevante Rhodes. And we have a series of other characters played by John Malkovich, Sarah Paulson, Jackie Weaver, Rosa Salazar, Danielle McDonald, Lil Rel Howery. These are a series of characters that seem to pinpoint an area of survival. And because Mallory is pregnant, there is another woman that shows up by the name of Olympia, who is also pregnant, and they both end up going into labor sometime during the film and having a boy and a girl. Now, during all this process, another character shows up by the name of Gary, who talks about another house that some people had been holed up with, and about a man by the name of Frank, who had drawn all these pictures, and evidently was one of these characters that evidently all of these people who ended up killing themselves becoming. Evidently, they became these glowing-eyed creatures, and it was weird. So they ended up finding out that one of their own might be this Frank character, and yeah. ultimately, Mallory ends up in the book, in the novelization, supposedly waking up after she had gone into labor, realizing that everyone was dead, and she ended up teaching the two children, boy and girl, how to survive without using their eyes, using their ears for everything. And ultimately, there was a call from a guy by the name of Rick, who was played by Pruitt Trailer Vince, who I know from a psychological thriller called um, Identity. From if you remember that horror film, I felt like this film went. I felt like this film felt like The Happening. It felt like way too much like that movie that was put out by M. Night Shyamalan, and you didn't really get to see much of the creature or what it was that was killing off these people, making these people go insane, and I felt like I was missing part of the story when I watched this movie. Yes, saw this movie in flashbacks, so it's not that I didn't like Sandra Bullock's performance. I thought she played her performance to a T. It's just the very beginning of the film actually did play out like The Happenings. So there again, sorry that I repeat myself, but The Happening was a film where there was a phenomenon that was going on and people were just killing themselves. And to me, this just feels like it could have been like its sequel or a continuation of the film or something of that nature instead of being its own entity. And that's how I feel about the film. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what I liked about the film. It was entertaining to a point, but it felt like half of a thought, and that's what I didn't like. I mean, I wanted it to go somewhere, and I guess it did, but I was disappointed in the film. Uh, Story wise, it could have done better. Cinematically, it was pretty decent. I mean, it was cut really well. It just had its issues, and I really feel like I could have connected better if the story would have connected a little bit more to the original story. So, in any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not. I definitely enjoyed. I enjoyed Trevante Rhodes' character here for an African American to be that well mannered, that considerate, that passionate towards Sandra Bullock's character. Um, he was phenomenal. I mean, to me, I thought that his character, um, especially towards the time of the pregnancy, he was there for the character of Mallory and the character of Olympia through this whole process. And he was in the movie. He was actually a survivor, whereas in the book he was not. So being part of the teacher for the boy and girl, that was a little bit different. And the girl and the boy, they were played by Lyra Blair and Julian Edwards. I don't really think that they really had to do a lot of acting, although the way that Lyra Blair said that she would do the watching while they were in the canoe on the rapids. That was pretty amazing, you know. So hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not. Definitely check out some of my other cool reviews. I'm sorry if this one was a little bit more negative. I wasn't exactly a fan of this, since I felt like it was sort of mimicking The Happening, which I actually enjoyed. The Happening. I know that other people didn't, but I actually enjoyed it because it was weird and it went somewhere. So, in any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not. Thank you for coming to my page, listening to my ramblings, and hopefully you check out the film. Let me know down in the comments whether you enjoyed the film or not. Hopefully I got it right, and just watch the film yourself and get back to me. In any case, thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Thank you.